Right, I'm just looking at the producer. I told you this was a bad idea.
My first message to you was, hey sis, and she was absolutely livid.
I was like, sis?
Oh man, your sis, I want to be more than that. I'm laughing because something came to my mind straight away.
And I already know what it is.
Go, that was good.
Well, we'll talk about this later.
Yeah, we'll discuss it later, yeah.
And I said to him in the second half, why are they running the wrong way, Andy?
You recognise, oh snap, she's not just coming to help me and to help me be the best footballer. This is about us now.
I had an interest in John. I didn't really care for football. I really didn't want any drama.
I've really not got it right often.
So what advice would you give to someone who is kind of right in the thick of it right now?
Yeah, so...
Hi and welcome to the very first episode of Couple Goals. This is a brand new season and we're really excited for you guys to come along on this journey with us. So I'm LJ.
I'm Luke, and every week we're going to have episodes with real couples sharing real stories, something that we can learn from, be inspired by, go through the highs, go through the lows, and we're going to have a real good time doing it, aren't we?
Yeah. So please don't forget to follow us on all our social media channels. We're on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. Just search for Couple Goals Pod and you'll find us.
Brilliant. And this week we're joined by John and Sia Bostock. John, you're a professional footballer and the founder of Ballers in God, and Sia is the founder of Ballers in God WAGS, which we are going to learn a bit more about later.
Yeah.
All right, so thanks for coming.
Great to be here. Thank you so much
Thank you for having us.
Now, before we get into it, we do have a mandatory icebreaker involved. Are you up for doing it?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And we got to take part.
Fun.
We're ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
The producers told us we have to do this. So
We have to do it too,
we're
yeah.
doing it. Right, so what we got to do...
So we've got this little wheel over here for everybody who's kind of
Wheel of
listening in.
Fortune.
We've got a
Brilliant.
lovely little wheel with different colours on it.
Very
We're
nice.
going to give it a spin, and whichever colour it lands on, we've got these corresponding cards on the table, and we'll pick one up at random, and let's just see what it says, and we'll go with it.
Okay.
Okay, sound
right.
good?
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to do the spin?
So I spin.
Do the honours,
yeah.
John.
It's incredibly sturdy, as you can see. See?
There you go. Very sturdy.
That was quick. Blue? Let's go blue.
Let's go blue.
Let's go blue and see
Right.
what it is.
You got to do this for
Right,
us
so
as well.
yeah,
Okay.
we're going to ask you the question first and then we'll have to answer it. So what is one little thing your partner does that annoys you more than is reasonable?
This is a good way to start
Oh,
the podcast.
brilliant. I'm laughing because something came to my mind straight away.
And I already know what it is.
So do you want to go first?
No,
I'll
you
end?
go first.
No,
Have a
John's
think.
ready.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
ready. He's been ready.
We've been married for some time, and there aren't many things. One thing that annoys me is the way that my wife brushes her teeth.
Oh.
She's a very wonderful and beautiful lady, but she seems to become someone else when she brushes her teeth. I'm talking toothpaste everywhere, the sink splashing up and down.
So
Yeah, she. I'll definitely say that. But there aren't many things. But definitely brushing her teeth, she becomes. Ogre.
Rabbit?
Ogre from, is that her name from Shrek?
Oh, Fiona.
Yeah, Fiona. Yeah,
Fiona.
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 Yeah,
Oh,
that's the
gosh.
one. Yeah.
Fiona Bostock.
Fiona
Gosh,
Bostock.
I don't know why my mind's gone blank. My mind has actually
Yes.
gone
Oh,
blank.
you're not
in.
annoying
You're
at
in.
all.
I mean, he's quite a mighty snorer.
Oh, well,
So
that's
he-
something.
The rhino effect comes when he's really, really exhausted.
Okay.
So maybe I would say that. I'm quite used to it, but I still do
Yeah.
need to give him a few, nudges, and then he'll stop, and then the rhino returns. So that's all I can think of. Rhino, Bostock, and Fiona.
There you go. That was good.
Very good.
Yeah,
What
how about you guys?
Oh, yeah, so
Wow.
we've got to answer it now.
Well, I know immediately.
You do know. I think I know what you're going to say too.
Yeah, LJ does this thing when she's overthinking something.
It's usually overthinking,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can tell you're overthinking
They're
because
like,
she'll...
click my nails.
You hear this on the mic? She'll click her nail. And it's usually when we're driving and I'll just be going,
Yeah.
can you stop that?
He doesn't even have to
I hate it.
ask anymore, though. I did it the other day in the car, and I just saw this slight turn of his head, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm doing it again."
Well, yeah, that's probably the main one.
Yeah,
The main one. There's
main
other
one,
supplementary ones, but that's the main one. That's the
That's not too
headline.
bad.
one. The
though.
question was only one.
Okay, go on, Em.
You okay? Your turn. Probably the thing that annoys me the most is when you get the kids ready for bed. And I
What?
know you don't know what I'm going to say.
Oh, no.
This is good.
This is even better.
This is good. I've been
brilliant.
waiting for an opportunity. And when I get them ready for bed, when I take their clothes off, I'll like, right, that's dirty, that goes in the laundry, that's clean, fold it up and put it away. Look, I don't know what you do, but there's like clothes strewn all around the room.
I put them away.
So then often if I go in the room after, I'm like, oh, put the clothes away.
Tidy up.
Yeah, tidy up.
I feel
So tidy as you go.
I feel like that's an
Yeah.
every other day thing.
Is
I
it?
think I'm
Maybe.
generally more organised than... Well, we'll talk about this later.
Yeah, we'll discuss it later, yeah. We can hash it out later.
Right, I'm just looking at the producer. I told you this was a bad idea. Right. Should we have
You
a
made
spin?
us do this.
We'll do it as well. Come on. Right. I'm going to go gently.
Are you going to spin?
I think that was a
Okay.
bit too
For
rough.
those who can't see, those listening in, it's an incredibly sturdy wheel made by our producer. It's actually stuck.
You can no longer
think I
spin the
broke it.
wheel.
Oh,
Oh,
here we
there
go.
we
Right,
go.
ready?
Right, give it a spin. Oh,
Okay.
it's spinning.
It's spinning.
It's working this time.
Oh, sea green?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever
this
you wanna
colour is.
call
Oh,
that.
you got to do it. Yeah.
You have to. Oh, I'm a
Honestly.
bit nervous now.
What was your first impression of your partner?
Oh.
As in like do an impression or...
Oh,
No. What did you first think when you met me?
I first met you. So we met... we met 2010, so 15 years ago, and I first saw you. I thought, gosh, there's a plucky Scottish girl,
Yes, but I'm Northern Irish.
but you're Northern Irish. So yeah, and I think I even said to you, it's
I
like,
remember
oh,
you
so,
approaching me, yeah.
yeah, I think I remember going, oh, so where in Scotland are you from?
Yeah,
'Cause
all
I'm
confident and
worldly wise. And
yeah.
know my
Cultured.
stuff. I'm
Really
cultured.
cultured.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I was like, oh, I'm not Scottish, I'm Northern Irish. And he was like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
right, never mind
Oops.
Go on then.
What did I think of you? I thought you were quite fun. Yeah, I think we got on quite well as friends very quickly.
Yeah.
And that was nice.
I like the
thought you were a
past
bit,
tense. I
yeah.
thought you were quite
I
fun.
thought you were quite fun.
So
I
something's
still
changed.
think you're fun. I
Okay.
still think you're fun.
That's okay then. Well, thank you for indulging us in this mandatory icebreaker. It went successfully.
that was cute. That was a
There we
nice
go.
We're all
icebreaker.
still married, which is wonderful.
We're all still
Yeah.
married.
We're all still here. It's
awkwardly
okay.
transition.
We can we can
Gonna
put
put
the
that one
wheel
back?
back to its little shelf, keep it safe. There we go. But yeah, that was fun.
That was good, yeah.
First spinning of the
Yeah.
wheel.
We love an icebreaker,
We
don't
do
we?
love
Great.
icebreakers.
Yeah.
Fab.
I felt very Blue Peter.
Yeah, I did a bit.
Right, guys, let's just get straight into it. You can kick a ball for a living. So I've been
John.
told. John. Yeah. If anyone
Definitely
listening.
not
Yeah.
me.
Ball kicker, yeah.
So how has that been for you? So you've had a bit of a storied career, haven't you? So like you joined the academy, was it at 5?
Yeah.
So is it just, I'm going to put disclaimer out there now. I'm not a footballer. So you are going to educate me now on the world of football. What was what was it about football that made you go at the age of 5, this is me, this is what I'm for?
I think it was from a very young age, you clearly see that it is the game that unites the most amount of people. I mean, in the playground, in the park, you can always hear kids rushing after a ball, and I was no different. So my stepfather was a Palace fan. And when I was 5, he got both of us a season ticket to watch Crystal Palace. So I would go to watch every home game. They would probably play it bi-weekly at home. So I would go to Selhurst Park in South East London with a bag of sweets, fish and chips, and we'd watch the game. And that's when I used to be able to smoke in stadiums. So I'd come home stinking of smoke. But when you're that young, you don't care about what happens around you. My focus was just on, I want to do that.
Wow.
And so I realised quite quickly that I was talented, and that looked like in reception I was playing against the kids in year 5 and year 6, and I was better than the majority of them in my neighbourhood where I grew up. When you were playing out, I was kind of set apart and always playing against adults from a young age. So, I mean, people say you can choose your passion, but I think there's a time when you realise your passion chooses you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I realised I had a real talent to play the game, and that's just the start. And so I signed for Crystal. So at the beginning, I was at a Sunday league team, which is just amateur level. You're playing casually, and my stepdad was a tennis coach in a place called Sutton in South London, and he heard a lot of commotion coming over from behind where he was coaching, and he went over to the coach and said, like, "What's happening here?" And they said, "It's trials for Crystal Palace Academy." And my dad said, "Oh, my son's a Palace fan. We're Palace fans. Can I bring my son?" And so we got an opportunity to come on trial. And I think there were 200 or 250 kids that day, and 2 of us got signed.
Wow.
And only 1 of us has made it as a professional. So, I mean, that's it gives you a scale to understand that not many make it because it's
Yeah.
many kids' dreams.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
from a young age, I realised that there was no plan B.
Yeah.
There was only plan A.
Well, I actually went to school with Chris Gunter.
Yes, played with Gunts. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh,
played with
incredible.
him, yeah.
Well, my claim to fame is I punched him because the back of goals. Yeah, 'cause he gave me a really hard tackle. I didn't appreciate it. And I can't play football. My feet go out the way.
Okay.
And I tackled him.
It's not your game.
No, not at all. I was trying to play rugby and he was playing football. And he came at me and then I pushed him. So that's my claim to fame. I beat up Chris Gunter. Don't come finding me, Chris Gunter, because he could absolutely beat me. But he was very similar. So for him in school, it was like he had this career laid out, ready to go. And a lot of us were kind of like super envious because I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do at that age. I was just sort of coasting through everything. So that's really interesting. So is there something in you, same as Chris then, where it's just, this is me?
Yeah, and I look at it now, I think it's definitely a positive because there's a lot of clarity from a young age. But also the negative is that like because there is no plan B in your mind, it's like I pin my whole identity to this thing.
Yeah.
So what am I outside of football? And I've learned that as I've matured. But as a young man, that was it, And so football really was the first thing that saved me from my area. I grew up in a really rough place in South London, and yeah, it's been a journey. Let's just say that, to say the least.
Wow. Well, it's been a great journey to watch, I'm sure, for people. And Sia, so you guys met. You were 17.
Yes.
I was 19.
19.
Yeah.
I did tell you I was 19 when I met you, didn't I?
Did you?
Yeah.
For a few
Wow.
Called me
minutes.
a 2-minute porky.
2-minute porky, yeah. Yeah, I did.
So what did you think, Sia, when you first met John? What was your first impression?
Do you know,
of him
I
then?
actually, we had so many close circles, but somehow we didn't meet. I don't know how that happened, that we didn't meet until this specific time. And we were at a Christian music event, and when John walked in, immediately I was like, I said to my friend, she was performing, and I said, who is that guy? And she said, oh, he's the footballer. And although I saw him and I thought, wow, so handsome, and I was drawn in because I thought he was so gorgeous, I was a bit like, when I heard the word footballer, I think there's such a stereotype that comes with a footballer. So actually, it pushed me away, didn't it? Within a week or so of speaking, though, that mutual friend connected us. And then I realised that actually, even though he was 17, he was very mature, and he was actually very different to, I think, the idea that I had painted in my head of a footballer. And also what we saw everywhere around us, the stereotype of a footballer wasn't really, apart from the money side, wasn't very desirable. And I really didn't want any drama. So
in what way was John different then?
Yeah.
What way did he stand out to you in that way?
I would say the biggest way that he stood out was that he didn't have the same desires as what the majority of footballers that I had seen around, newspapers. Social media wasn't that big then, because this is now, 16 years ago? Yeah, 16 years ago. Wow. He was just very different. For example, the night that we met, he had some guys and girls that he was mentoring in a group, and he'd taken them to this event. So he wouldn't talk to me at the event because he wanted to be a good example. When we began speaking, he used to call me sis.
It was really hard.
He used to
She's
call
in the
me
corner of your eye the
sis.
whole way through.
Didn't you?
My first message to you was, hey
Yeah.
sis, and she was absolutely
I was
livid.
like, sis?
Oh man, your sis, I want to be more than that.
Yeah. So, I realised quickly.
It worked.
Instantly,
it worked.
instantly friend zoned.
Yeah. But I think I realised quickly that he was different, and that perhaps I had judged him just by seeing, or knowing that he was a footballer. And
That's understandable, though, isn't it? Because,
Yeah.
like you say, the public image of a footballer is like lads on tour.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I think she wanted to protect
Especially
herself.
that young as well, 17.
Yeah.
And I think through things that I had gone through, I did know that I wanted to get into a secure relationship. I didn't want to just be meeting random, going on dates. I really didn't want that. I always knew I wanted to get married young. And so I was put off by the age in the beginning and what he did. But it didn't take long. And then you won me over, didn't you? Didn't take long.
I think at the beginning, because of not just your past, but just like wisdom, I guess, you didn't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
You look at the way that, like you said, other footballing relationships that you've seen in the news, outside the news, the odds are stacked against professional athletic couples or athletes working. So I completely understand. And it's good to guard your heart at the beginning, but it didn't take long.
Didn't take long. No, not at all. Because you met and got engaged 6 months afterwards, wasn't it?
Yes, we met in January and I proposed in June. Yeah, it was literally 6 months.
June,
and then
6 months.
6 months
Wow.
married after that.
Yeah.
Were you surprised when he proposed, or did you see it coming?
Do you know, I definitely didn't know he was going to propose when he did. I
Okay.
was so shocked and so stunned because he was abroad he was in America with his friends.
Okay.
And footballers only have sort of maybe 3 to 5 weeks off.
Oh my goodness.
So I knew he was abroad,
Yeah.
he'd sent me pictures of him abroad. So I definitely wasn't expecting it that day. I turned around and there he was with his sun-kissed beautiful face on one knee. I was so shocked.
Aw.
But I did know that we probably wouldn't be dating for a very long time because football it means that you're apart a lot. John was, I think, playing in Hull for Hull City.
Yeah, I was on loan from Tottenham to Hull, yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't see each other that much. So we knew that things would probably progress quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of expected it.
And you both wanted it.
But
didn't you?
but just not
Yeah.
on that day, yeah. But it was a lovely surprise when I did see you.
Is that something you see within the football world? Like, I was chatting to Lindsay, our manager, who's like a big football fan, and she was even saying to me that you're forced to grow up very, very quickly because of the nature of the game. So, like, retirement is mid-30s, isn't it? Quite often. So, is that something you see within the football world for the players who do want to get married? Do you get married young? Because 17.
That's very young.
18. Well,
Well, eight- well, eight-
17
yeah.
we met,
Well,
18.
yeah,
But it's
18.
still your
That's
baby.
young. Yeah, because we got married at 23 and 22.
Yeah.
And I would say that's
It's
young.
incredibly young.
That
yeah.
is young.
Yeah. So do you see that as something was part of being a footballer? You have to grow up a bit more quickly?
You're definitely forced into a adult environment probably quicker than you're prepared to be thrust into it. I mean, so I made my debut for Crystal Palace when I was 15. So technically I wasn't able to change in the same change room as my teammates, as the men. I had to, by
That's
law,
interesting.
change
wow.
another change
Yeah.
room, although my manager said just change in this change room.
Right.
So, I mean, you're around an environment that is very mature, very quickly. I moved out from my parents' home when I was 15 to live with we call it a digs family, like a care family in North London, because I was living in South London. So a lot of the roots that you had experienced that kept you as a young person, those roots start to shift. Now, there's a danger that your talent in football can take you to a place that your character can't keep you. And I realized that, give any young man riches, fame, expose him to a platform that is, it's a huge platform, it can be really detrimental.
It's a spark to Tinder, isn't it?
Yeah. So I experienced that very quickly. And it's not something you can really prepare for. I'm very grateful I had a solid family base and people around me that I could call mentors and stuff. But football's a bizarre world.
Yeah.
It's a bizarre bubble.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, like the unique challenges of how to support young people within that world. It probably isn't enough there, I'd imagine. Would you say there's...
It's grown a lot.
Is it better?
Oh, so much better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really grown a lot. Player safeguarding, player care. There's like player wellness officers at the club. So yeah, it's grown a lot. But I guess now we're in a social media age where you can see a lot of players' lifestyles, and you're seeing young men, whether it's in music or in sports, you're seeing them live out their maturity in a public space, and that's incredibly dangerous. So yeah. It's you had to grow quickly for sure.
Yeah. And do you think that's what you saw in John?
Yeah.
The maturity?
Yeah. He was very mature, and I think from getting to know him probably in a very short time, I realised that he was quite a safe place for me, and that I was able to really be myself. Where I think growing up, a lot of what I showed people was quite guarded, but we both became quite vulnerable with each other quite early, I'd say.
Yeah.
And I realised that because I really knew nothing about football at all. Like, I remember saying, I went to my first game I went to was with like an uncle father figure to me, Andy Coulthart. He went with me to a Tottenham game, and I was sitting
I was on the
next
bench
to
against Chelsea in the Premier League. It was a massive occasion.
It was huge, and I was so scared. I felt like a tiny ant. I've never
bless you.
been to a game, and I said to him in the second half, "Why are they running the wrong way, Andy?
Why have they changed?
What's going on?" And he was like, "No, that's what they do." I knew nothing.
That's so good.
Absolutely nothing. Which also meant I had an interest in John and his career, but I didn't really care for football, to be really brutally honest. So I wanted to get to know John, which meant, I think, because a lot of people maybe growing up had wanted to know you for football, he was probably like, she really just cares about me. So we connected very quickly, with nothing to do with football, didn't we?
Yeah.
We gelled quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
And it was really refreshing for me.
Yeah.
Because I was exposed to the limelight very early, you question people's motives.
Yeah.
But that was something that I had clarity on very quickly. Her motives were pure.
Yeah, it's you, it's not your career.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I
Person
now
before
know
the
how
player.
many players are on a pitch, though.
Yeah, now you
That's
know.
good.
So that's good. Yeah.
How many?
12? 11.
Asking for a
There
friend.
you go, per team. Yes, please. Well done.
That's me.
There we go.
The ref is not playing for us.
It's only taken 16
11,
years.
not 12. Or maybe sometimes he is too fair.
Oh, gosh.
No one's passing to that guy. Why?
Oh, dear.
Oh, fantastic. You mentioned earlier that you had this desire to get married young.
Yeah.
Where's that come from? Is that something you hinted at something about your upbringing and something to do with that? You've always wanted to be married young. Could you just elaborate on that a little?
Yeah. I mean, I think, and actually something that you had said, Luke, before, when you said that a lot of people knew what they wanted to do from young, and a lot of people didn't. If I'm completely honest, I always had a heart for caring for people, but I always just wanted to be a wife and mum. And I used to almost be embarrassed that was my kind of life goal. Like when my mum would ask me to help with the washing, I'd gather the washing and pretend that it was a baby. And I wasn't like really young when I'd do this, but I've always had a heart to want to be a wife and to be a mum. And I think maybe culturally I'm Greek Cypriot. So that's probably played quite a big part in that. I've always just wanted to meet somebody and have security and build a home with someone and care for someone and love for someone and have children. That's always been from very little my desire. So I never really wanted to like have this business career and go into the city. That's never really been my goal or my desire. But I did definitely want to just, because I'd moved a lot growing up with my parents and came from quite a broken home. I always just thought, once I get married, I'm going to find my man. We're going to settle down. We're going to live in one home with a picket fence. We'll put wreaths on all the holidays. Christmas, we'll have, this is the idea I had. But obviously that.
And then you married a footballer.
Then I married John. Yeah, it all went pear-shaped.
Pack your bags, babe.
Yeah.
You're off.
Yeah.
And was that something that you found quite difficult when you got married? The fact that you had this dream of settling in one place and then you married John and life is a bit up in the air, I imagine. And with a footballer's career, you don't know where you're going to be and there's lots of moving around. So did you find that difficult? Was that something you had to work through together?
It was definitely an adjustment, wasn't it? I think in the beginning, it was the majority of the moves were in England. So it wasn't as difficult. The first move was Hull City, which was a few hours from home. So my mum would drive up and stay with us, which helped. But yeah, it quickly became quite difficult for me when we moved abroad. It was quite lonely. And I was still young.
Yeah.
The first abroad move was where, John?
Well, Toronto.
Toronto, yeah. So Toronto was quite exciting for the first month and then it did get quite lonely. The games were wonderful, but John was away an awful lot because if there was an away game, you'd have to fly away for a few days, I think, from what I remember, and then I'd be on my own. And so it was quite difficult for me. It was quite lonely and quite challenging, although it was beautiful. Like, I will always be so grateful for all that football has given us and our family. I'm so thankful, and I don't want to put it down. I'm grateful, and I love our life, and I'm so thankful for all that we have been able to experience and have, and I'm grateful for that. But there's definitely been a lot of challenges. After Toronto, we moved to
Antwerp,
Belgium, then another part of Belgium, then we moved to France, then Turkey, then France, then England. And we had our little boy. So we've got a beautiful little boy, Joa. Who's 9, and he's a sweetness. He looks just like John without the beard.
That's impressive. That's impressive, mate. Well done.
But we had him in Belgium, so that was challenging for me.
Yeah.
Because our family were all in England, and so I think that's when I found it the hardest. I felt really lonely, and I felt quite overwhelmed, to be honest, with this sweet baby, and wasn't sure what to do, and it was hard. You were away a lot, weren't you?
Yeah, that was a huge transition period for us. Because I'm trying to play and focus on my career, and I'm coming home to my wife who's been waiting for me all day and wanting me to take over and be present and, to tend to kind of those needs. But I'm completely drained from playing bad or not being in a team or this and that. So,
there's a lot of pressure.
we felt very isolated. And football's an incredible game, but I think when you live it, there's a hugely unglamorous side, if there's even a word, behind the scenes. And I think sometimes wives, you are the forgotten people. Wags get a name, okay, there's a glamour side, but you're often isolated, alone. and it's uncomfortable, you know. And I think it's taught us over the years, you know, not to try to find a home in four walls. Wherever my wife, Sia, wherever we've gone, you've always come with me. We've gone together, and she's always made it a home, no matter where we've gone, whether we're there for 4 months, a month, a couple of years. I've always felt like you've done your best to make it home. We tell this story. We never put photos on the wall. We've been married 16 years, and we've just finally got our base now. You know, we're settled in the Midlands. And now we're putting pictures on the walls, but for years, because you've always moved like literally every 12 months, you've never put pictures on the wall. It just kind of just shows that, like, the instability of football. I mean, we had a phone call when I was at Tottenham. John, you're going to Toronto tomorrow. I was,
It was tomorrow.
baby, pack your bags. Where are we going? Toronto.
Wow.
Do you ever say in it? I was like, I do, but not really. It has to go now.
Yeah.
So it's very unstable, but we're grateful for the journey and the people it's made us, because I think growth comes through discomfort.
I agree, John.
For sure.
Yeah. And did you find that that's hard because you're a footballer, but you're a husband, and then you become a dad? What's it like having to wrestle with that tension where you've obviously got commitments to the team, and it's not like you can just say, "Oh, I'm phoning in sick," you know, or I can't be there today. I've got stuff to do with the kids or something. Did you feel that pressure of coming home and switching roles, and was that hard to do?
I definitely felt that it was an adjustment. I've really not got it right often. Over the years, I've had to really be teachable and ask you, how am I doing? And sometimes I wouldn't ask you, you would just kind of see that I wouldn't get it right, whether that's, you know, the ministry side of me prioritizing something, whether it's business side, or and especially my career, because it's all consuming. You know, it's such a unique career in that when you play, you're not just playing for your boss or playing, you know, to get a result. You're playing for the opinion, or in front of opinions of thousands of people, where your effort and your performance is judged in the paper, in the news, by fanatics, you know, people who absolutely live and die for their club. So that has been a challenge over the years, separating what I do from who I am, and learning that being a husband is my first and greatest role. Being a father is, you know, as important, but it comes second due to me being a husband. And then what I do comes third. Now, because football is so consuming, it hasn't always been easy. I've got it wrong multiple times. But I think us trying to learn that we're in this together. You'll correct me when I make mistakes, and kind of pull back the reins if I'm running down a road that I shouldn't be running down. But it's not easy. It's not easy. Yeah.
No. And it's obviously difficult for anyone to see that you are prioritizing it in that order, because all anyone can see looking in is, well, he's on the pitch. So, he loves football. He's all about football. But inside you're thinking, I got to get home. I got to make sure I'm focused. And, you know, how Sia, she's probably had a hard day, and that's hard. I mean, that's so relatable as well. Like, because we have these conversations every now and then where you've had a tricky day with our kids. So obviously we've got, no one knows this. We have, this is episode 1. We have a 6-year-old girl and a 3, soon 4-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And they're lovely, but very spirited.
They're a handful.
They're a handful. And I might be having an intense day, here in the office, doing this, that, and the other. And then I come home and I've got to try and...
I've had an intense day.
And you've had an intense day.
In a different way, but yeah.
It's such a relatable thing, that tension of, turn work mode off. I've got to now switch into supporting husband, supporting wife, mother, father.
Yeah, and I was just wondering, like, in what way, you mentioned about putting your marriage first. What kind of things have you guys done that you found really helped you to do that? Like, whenever you find, we're a bit on the wrong page here, how have you managed to come back together and be on the same page again?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'm happy to go first. Yeah. I think one of the things that we've tried hard to do, and I say try because, like John said, we don't get it right. There's a lot of times where I'll be in tears and I'm frustrated, or John's frustrated with me because he doesn't feel I'm championing him in a certain area. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, hey, what about me? I need support in this area, you know. I think one of the biggest things is communication, is checking in regularly. like, John, what is it you need from me? Even like love languages, they change, at the moment. I feel like both of us, because we are so busy at the moment, and there's so much going on in our worlds individually and together, I would say, I'm going to guess, that we really need quality time and we need acts of service. So for me, if John does something to help me, take something off my list, or if for example, if he's in the office and he's got meetings, back-to-back meetings, if I don't think to myself, this guy's going to be hungry, he needs about 5 drinks today, he needs extra time, I'm going to take John.
When you come up them stairs with a little breakfast in the meetings, it's just like it's come from. Absolutely.
It's
I
a
feel so
small
loved,
thing.
so seen.
It's a small thing, but I know it eases John's load. So I think for us checking in, what can I do? Like throughout the day, I think it was day before yesterday, John said, right, what do I need to do today that can help you? And I think it's that regular checking in and asking each other, what can I do? How can I lighten your load? And sometimes it is literally just sitting together in the same office while we're both doing our jobs and encouraging each other. How many ticks have you got, to get things off the list? Sometimes it's bigger things. Sometimes it's working through a matter of the heart or something that one of us is going through. But I would say for us, one of the big things is communication and regular checkups.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there's been seasons where you've seen maybe I haven't been in the best position to be able to hear where you're coming from. So there's been times when Sia's literally wrote me a letter. She said, go for a walk and read this. I'm like, all right, so I'll leave the house and I'll go and read this letter.
This was some years ago.
Yeah, but it was an important period where you felt like I was kind of put in, different roles ahead of my most important role of being a present husband and a father. And I went to the park, I remember, and I got this paper, this letter, and you just poured your heart out in it. And so I think it's learning, the same conversation can't be the answer for every season. No. Yeah, there's new ways to communicate. There's new ways to recognize that your partner is handling a different weight, a different stress, being flexible, but remembering in all the ways in which you want to get your opinion across that we're a team. So the goal is not for you to win or for me to win. It's how can we win? Yeah. And sometimes it's colourful. Sometimes it's black and white. Yeah. Sometimes it's grey. But we try to make it a goal. Like practically, you asked before we go to sleep, we have to come to a place of agreement and understanding. And I think that's really helped us. We refuse, and sometimes I'm literally like, wake up, we need to deal with this. We refuse.
You're rage snoring, I can hear it.
Rage snoring, the rhinos in your background.
You're right.
Literally, that's the rule in our house. Yeah. We make sure that the sun doesn't go down and we don't go into a new day with bitterness. It doesn't always mean that we deal with everything completely the way we want to, but we address it, and it's really helped us. Yeah,
and sometimes it could be, if it was a bigger thing, and this has happened over the years, if it is a bigger thing, it's like, okay, tomorrow we'll attack this, but we'll call up blah, blah, or blah, blah to support us or to come alongside us. Because some things we can't deal with on our own. We're going around the same houses. We're getting more and more exhausted, and actually it's at that moment that it's like, okay, we've tried all of these things. Let's see who we can bring in to help in the situation, and then we'll agree, and then the next day we'll make a call or two and get some other people on board.
Yeah, that's been a huge help for us.
And that's really brave, though. Yeah. That's really hard to do, isn't it? Because your marriage is such, an intimate thing, and there can be, almost some shame, I guess, in admitting that things aren't okay and that we need help. But to bring people in, like that's a difficult thing to do. Yeah. How did you manage to come to that point where
that's
you
something we would struggle with
to do? Yeah, I'd find that hard to do. Yeah. I think that's quite tricky.
I think because that's how we went into marriage. Before we got married, we got premarital counselling.
Okay.
That was part of kind of our faith background. That we realised that if we're going to do this well and do this for a long time, people know more than us, and so we need to kind of deal with stuff that we've been through personally, but come to a place where we understand, have a better understanding of what we're going to face. So we had people speaking into our relationship from before we got married. I was so young, 18, you were 9, you were 20, just turned 20. I think I was 18, 19 the week after I got married, but I was 18 years old. And on paper, to say yes to a young man, I asked my parents, my mum, I said, what do you think? She said, well, it's incredibly young, but you're not the normal 18-year-old. So there are certain things in place. Financially, you're at a place of freedom. You have your head screwed on. So she gave me the green light, and also kind of the pastoral figures in our lives were also backing us, but to the point where it wasn't like, okay, go and get married and Bob's your uncle and,
Yeah.
crack on. It was like, okay, but
We'll
stay
support
close.
you,
We'll support
yeah.
you. So we had some figures in our lives
great.
where we could deal with smaller things as they came up. So it wasn't
Yeah.
like we were coming with this massive snowball that's gone on for months and months and we're just presenting it. It was just the small things. What do you think about this? She said that, I said this. Am I in the wrong?
Yeah.
So that kind of has protected us over the years. Because when I got married, I mean, some of my teammates were saying, I'll give you 10 years.
Oh, wow.
10 years, John,
Wow.
you'll be divorced.
Thanks,
and,
mate.
And they, cheers, mate.
It's encouraging, isn't it?
And so they just couldn't believe it. At first they said, is it an arranged marriage? Then they said, is she a gold digger?
We got that a lot.
And these are fair
Really?
questions. They're fair questions,
Yeah.
but they're wrong. And so we knew that, okay, if we're going to make this work, which we will, it's not going to just be in our own strength.
Yeah.
We need support.
And I think things have changed a lot. I think at that time, I agree. I think 16 years ago, to have counselling or to have support or to need therapy, as the Americans like to say, I think it was a really strange thing, and people thought that there was something really weird going on, or what are they walking through? What's going on?
Yeah.
There was.
Like a sign of weakness.
Yeah, a sign of weakness. But now, I feel like the last sort of maybe 3-4 years ago, I don't know if you guys agree, but I feel like now those things are more celebrated.
Yeah.
And people are a lot more open and comfortable saying, I'm struggling with this, or I went through this, or, I have been going to counselling. And I think things have changed a lot, which I'm grateful for, because it is so important.
Yeah.
It's like everybody, and I used this analogy a few weeks back, remember, and I said that if, for example, we've got children. If your children, I don't know, they have a temperature, you know that you've got that cupboard and you've got the Calpol or you've got the Nurofen.
Yeah.
And so you go to the cupboard, you get it out, you know the exact amount of dosage that you'll give, or if you don't use that, you might use something else, but you know where it is. And I think in the same way for us, we've now built up, it's a small list of contacts, but we know that if we have an issue and we've gone around the houses, then we know, okay, maybe Pastor blah blah is good for this, maybe Auntie Lala is good for that, And so it doesn't take us too long anymore before we'll pick up the phone. And it has made a huge, huge difference because, like John said, marriage is not easy. And we've been through a lot at different times, and we've brought our own things into the marriage that we didn't have the tools to unpack ourselves. We needed extra support, and we probably will still need extra support throughout the years. But we don't shy away from it, do we?
No.
At all.
And now,
Yeah.
and we will make calls sometimes, but we will also think, okay, what would he say? What would
Yeah,
So
yeah.
one of
Yeah,
the
so
people
true.
we used to go to is my pastor, his name's Pastor Joe. So we're like, okay, what would Pastor Joe say in a situation?
Yeah, we do. We actually say that.
Okay, fine, he'd probably say that. So, it's become helpful.
Yeah.
That's really good. And I think you're totally right. I think there's been a shift. There's been a bit of a
Yeah.
culture shift that I think the hyper-individualized way of doing something where you got to do it all on your own strength and you can do it all by yourself is shifting to more, no, it's good to have community. It's good to have people around you. We're not meant to be by ourselves. As a married couple, we're one. And as this united individual, we need to have people supporting us as well. So I think the fact that you guys knew that so early on
Yeah.
is clearly paid dividends to where you are now, which is incredible. We're just going to go to a break quickly, but after that, I want to let's unpack some of the things you just said there about you brought some stuff into your marriage that you were wrestling with and wanted to get through. So when we come back, we'll look into that. Okay? Great. Could your relationship be on autopilot?
Drifting apart is one of the biggest reasons why couples decide to call it quits. If you'd like to invest in your relationship, you're going to love Going the Distance, a new event from Care for the Family.
Catherine Hill and Philip Gennaro share their warmth, their wisdom and their honesty as they help you to spot the warning signs, avoid the roadblocks, and to help you continue on your journey together.
Going the Distance is going on tour across the UK this October. You can book your tickets now at cff.org.uk and search for Going the Distance. So welcome back after the break. So earlier you guys mentioned that Sia, you said that you came from a broken home. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah. So my upbringing was a very rocky one. My parents divorced when I was 15, but prior to that, the upbringing was, and I mean, I say this, I'm trying to be careful if I'm honest, because I adore my dad and I adore my mum, and my dad and I now have a strong relationship and we're close again. But growing up, it was very difficult because of my dad. Our upbringing was very controlled. There was a lot of control. We were constantly, my sister and I, walking on eggshells. There were a lot of things that we weren't allowed to do. It was, I don't want to say a militant upbringing, but there were so many rules, and that came from my dad. And my mum was very nurturing, very loving. She brought us up in the faith, so she taught us how to pray. She taught us the strength that we can find in drawing from God. So we had that on the one side, but then on the other side there was, I would say, a confliction of all of that. My dad made life very difficult, let's just say, for my sister and I. So that caused a lot of brokenness in me from very, very young. I was very fearful. I had a lot of anxiety. And I think because of those anxieties, I mean, anything that isn't dealt with, it's only going to grow and become worse, It's not just going to stay the same. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. So from very young, having all of those difficult things that I went through and not dealing with them, by the time I was a teenager, I was just rolling around with a whole lot of anxiety, a whole lot of brokenness, and actually, if I'm honest, a lot of trauma. And when my parents divorced at 15, by that time I really was quite a broken person, to be honest. I really, really was. I tried all of the things, and none of those things helped. And so, yeah, I was quite a mess, bless me. Once I decided to lean into my faith and entrust all of that baggage to God, that's when the transformation within me began. And I would say I met John, so a few years after that, 4 years after that. So there was a kind of healing process that had begun from around 16. But I still brought an awful lot of baggage into the relationship and into the marriage. And I don't think I hid any of that from John because, like I said, we were both really vulnerable with each other quite early on. But I don't think he probably realised the depth of those issues until he lived with me, because we didn't live together till we were married. So then, bam, once he's married to me and there's no getting away, that's when he'd see, probably that's when you saw certain things coming out, the insecurities and the worries and the pressures and different things that I had kind of bubbling up. And a lot of the things I had dealt with, but a lot I still hadn't dealt with.
Yeah.
And what was your upbringing like, John? Was that similar in any way, or was it quite different to Sia's?
Definitely different in some ways. So my biological father, he left my family when I was 2 months old. So I never knew, his name was John Bostock, John Senior. Now my two older sisters, they remember our dad, because they were 9 and 7 when he left. So that left a gaping hole in them as young women growing up. But for myself, my mum remarried when I was 2 years old. So I always had a father figure, which I'm very, very grateful for. But growing up with a talent, sometimes your parents and loved ones can live vicariously through your own ability. They see their success linked to you succeeding, and I get it. It's based. It can have loving roots, but the fruit of that is sometimes detrimental to a relationship between a father and a son. And so I felt immense pressure from a young age to succeed, to the point where I fell out of love with football because I felt that I was loved when I did well and I was rejected when I played bad. And that really was a process for me to learn how to, change that paradigm. I am more than just a performer, more than just a footballer.
Yeah.
I'm a person first. And like you said, we're in a place now where our relationships with our parents are really healthy, but they haven't always been that way. It's taken immense work. Sometimes more work from our sides, if I'm honest with you, which is fine, but it's been a journey. And like you mentioned, when you mention these things, I'm like, even I've been married to you for almost 15 years. It's like, wow, I can't believe you were that girl, that young girl. But I saw some of the remnants of who she used to be when we first got married, and it was I couldn't believe it. I'd make a joke or try to tickle her or do something, and she would just bawl and break down and cry.
Wow.
And so I realised I had a responsibility to really love her through what she was going through. I didn't always get it right, but I realised that.
No, you did most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I tried my best, but I definitely helped. It definitely helped me to understand, as people who have a deep-rooted faith, that that's the way that God treats me. He doesn't just reject me because I'm broken. He actually loves me through my brokenness and brings me out. So I had kind of an understanding that I have to play that role for my wife, love her through this period. And now, we're on a podcast and we're speaking from, that's our past. Maybe people listening to this, but that's your reality now. But, that won't define you if you keep going and get the right help. Because where you're at now is not the end. There is a future that is brighter than where you are now. So that was my experience growing up, extreme pressures. And also just kind of, my whole upbringing was focusing on me, my name, my fame, my story, my talent. Coming into a marriage, you recognize, oh, snap. She's not just coming to help me and to help me be the best footballer. This is about us now. So that was a wake-up call for me. I had to lose a lot of selfishness, really kill some of the deep, deep, deep anchors that I had into it all being about the John Bostock show because I couldn't see it. At the start, I couldn't see it. But marriage is a very big mirror that will show you where you are very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. And I love you've said it a few times. It's the struggles, and it's through those struggles that actually brings out the character, the transformation, the change. And it's lovely to see that you've got the maturity, and I think we talked about it earlier, like when you were so young, you had the maturity to see, no, the struggles we're going through now are going to shape us into something so much better down the road. And that's a huge encouragement, I think, for couples who might be listening in and are in the middle of it and they're really struggling. But persevere, keep at it, don't give up. Something beautiful is going to come out on the other end. And it's something you've said, you're a couple of faith. Faith is such a huge part of who you guys are. And we can't not talk about Ballers in God. So can you tell us a little bit about what Ballers in God is and how your faith has led you to build something to help others within your field?
Sure. So I wasn't always raised in faith. Faith was quite a new thing for me, growing up as a teen. But I became a Christian when I was 15 years old. I saw my sister's life change before my eyes, and I was so blown away that her life could change that drastically. So it intrigued me to want to know more. And so I became a Christian when I was 15, and so that's when I started to see my talent and gift a little bit differently. It's not just about me. How can I use my talent and gift to serve others? So Ballers in God is a pro-to-pro community in the world of football where we serve Christian professional footballers. So that looks like weekly online meetings, Bible studies, online prayer meetings, end of season retreats for professional players to come and put their phones away and just gather and be united. And we're just like a community who understands what players go through. So it's a pro-to-pro movement in the world of football. So we're not led by non-footballers, led by players, for players. And that was birthed out of a longing in my heart for community. We mentioned earlier how we moved to Belgium when I was 20, early 20s. And so that means we were plugged out of our family culture, we were plugged out of our kind of church culture, and we were alone, isolated, and I just felt really lonely. And I said a very simple prayer, God help me, what shall I do? And I felt very strongly that if I'm feeling this way, other players will be feeling the same way. So I reached out to a few of my teammates who I met along my journey and who had a faith. And I said, look, do you want to just jump online once a month, just to encourage each other? And they said yes. I said yes. And we kept, meeting monthly. The players invited more teammates, and it kept growing and growing to the point where now we have access to over 600 players. We have 3 language groups, English, French and Dutch. And we serve players. That's our heartbeat, to come alongside them and see them as people before the performers. So we've seen a lot of fruit. It's been an incredible journey. And players, like anyone watching, you are more than what you do. And so we focus on that point, that they're just people.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what's great as well is that you're involved in it now, aren't you? Which is incredible. So we've been talking about the whole way, you're a footballer, footballers' wives, and it's big wags.
Ballers in God,
Ballers
wives and
in God.
girlfriends, yeah?
Wives and girlfriends. But it's not wives and girlfriends, is it?
So the WAGS part, we're just reclaiming that name, and it stands for Women About God.
Brilliant.
And
Well
so it's been going for a year and 3 months to be exact. And similarly to the guys, we just wanted to come alongside the wives, girlfriends and fiancés of players.
Wow.
Because I mean, like I shared in the beginning, I know how it feels sometimes when people maybe in your circle don't always understand the pressures of, of being married or with a footballer, but also, I say the pressures, also the highs and the lows, like we celebrate as well when things are going on. So we have a weekly meeting on a Thursday, so they have theirs on a Wednesday, we have ours on a Thursday. Which is beautiful. We'll open the Bible, we'll pray, we'll encourage each other, we'll talk about, the difficulties, the things that we're hoping for. And then on a Saturday morning, that's usually when most players are getting ready for a game, so 10 o'clock, we have a 30-minute prayer slot. All of this is done online because obviously we've got, people everywhere. So we've got girls in Israel, in... they're everywhere, these little loves. Yeah. Dubai, in different places. So it's been so wonderful for me, and it's stretched me, and it's wonderful. It really is. It's special. And
I
we're
think
excited to see where it's going to go.
Community
aren't we?
is I think you mentioned earlier, Luke, like we were made to have, people around us.
Yeah.
That starts with the family, but then your passions and different things will unite you with other people that you get life on a different level. And so I think that's what we've experienced in Ballers in God. Like we understand the struggles and also the suffering. When you go through stuff together, it hits differently. So we've realized that in our marriage, but also externally, like we need people around us. And I think that having a community that understands the trials and the tribulations, it's been a huge blessing for us. And now we can be in a position to see other marriages thrive. So we have joint meetings sometimes where the guys and the ladies will come into a joint meeting, talk about the struggles in marriage, talk about the ups and downs. We have some icebreakers, not as good as these, we have icebreakers.
Well, we've got a big budget for
because there's a time when I realised that the players' careers were flourishing, but then when we'd ask about how the wives feel, they're like, I feel alone, I feel abandoned. I'm like, oh snap, these guys are coming to the meetings, everything seems to be going well, but the biggest and most precious part of their life, their union with their wives, they're struggling. So we recognise that's a huge pillar in our ministry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Marriages.
I think also, just kind of rewinding a tiny weeny bit, I think anything, and it's so cliche to say, but anything that is worth having really takes hard work. So to have a wonderful relationship, you have to be willing to put the work in. You have to be in every single day intentional, intentional about pouring into your partner, but also intentional about pouring into yourself. For example, we joked about the fact that I really didn't have any interest in football, but it meant so much to John. I had to learn to have an interest and understand the game. And similarly, like my culture means so much to me. And probably didn't for John in the beginning, but now my guy's speaking Greek.
Wow, fair play. Come on,
go on, mate.
Dililio, that means a little bit.
That's
it. I understand quite a bit.
Yeah, I say that to say, like community building, like having Ballers in God as a kind of family, like we like to call ourselves a family, like we're pouring in, but we're growing when we're all together, and and I think it's so important and such an aid in growing in a relationship is being willing to put the work in, however that looks, whether that is counselling, whether that is working on yourself, whether that is reading the books, whatever it is, it takes work. You're never going to have a successful relationship if you're not willing to put any work in, or, and you're not willing to be in a team.
Absolutely.
And work together. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That was so good. That was such a huge encouragement. Right.
Yeah.
I think before we wrap up, we have got a little bit of an extra bit of a bonus thing that we're going to do at the end of every episode. So what we would normally do, or what we're going to be doing going forward, is we're going to ask a question from the previous guests for you guys. Now,
You're episode one.
So it'd be a very quiet section if we try to do that. So we've come up with a question ourselves, on top of all the other questions we've already asked you. But we've really thought about your guys' story, and we've really tried to think about what would people really want to hear from you as we close. So do you want to go for it? Do you want to read the question? Yeah.
So like we've mentioned before, like we all have our pasts. We've all got stuff that we bring into our marriages that we have to work through together. So what advice would you give to someone who is kind of right in the thick of it right now? So they're right in the midst of that struggle. They're not at the other end of it yet. What would you say to help them get there?
Are we talking to couples or individuals?
Couples.
Couples.
You want to go first? Or should I go?
I don't
You go for it.
I would say that one of my favourite sayings of life is "This too shall pass." And sometimes when you're in the midst of something really difficult and overwhelming and you can't see a way out, there is always a way out. There is always a back door, a side door. There is always some form of support available. And this really too shall pass. So if you're going through something really, really difficult, I would say be encouraged that knowing that there is an end, there is an open door somewhere, in some way. And usually, there's nobody, I'm sure, that hasn't been through what you've been through or what you're going through. So I would say that trying to find people who you can connect with, who can support you. There is so much out there now, so much support out there available. And like I said in the beginning, I think now, instead of it being like, oh, they need help, it's celebrated. Like, it's okay, get the help, get the support that you need, and lean into it rather than away from it. And it is possible. I really do believe that even the most broken of relationships, the most broken of marriages, I do believe that there is always some form of reconciliation or healing available. It's very often if we're willing to put the work in. I hope that doesn't sound bossy at all.
No, that's lovely.
But that's what
what
I would say. There really is always hope.
There's always hope.
Truly, there really, really is. I'd love to hear what you'd like to say.
No, it's brilliant. I would say, I think when you're in the frame, it's impossible to see the picture. If you could just imagine, a picture trying to look at itself, it can't see. But if once you step back and you actually look back at the journey, you'll realise that there's a beautiful painting being made of your story. And when you're in it, you just can't see it. You cannot barely breathe. You can barely even think about tomorrow. But if you recognise, like you said, this will pass and a beautiful picture is being made of what you're going through, and that the future you will thank you for pushing through this season. I think it's really, really important to remember also why you got together in the first place. I think when the kids come, when the pressures come, you lose sight of the too young, whatever age you were, of what united you in the beginning. And you're not the same person you married, or your spouse is not the same person you married, and vice versa, but you weren't supposed to be. You weren't designed to be the same. You're supposed to grow, you're supposed to be different. But try to remember why you came together in the first place, and prioritize protecting, outside of all the noise that's to come, all the distraction, protect each other. It seems so cliche and so simple, but put the other person first.
Yeah.
It's a challenge because everything in you sometimes wants to win, but if you win, the unity could lose.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just remember you're a team, remember why you got together in the first place, and in time, both of you will look back at the frame and see a picture that you couldn't see while she was going through whatever you're going through.
That's really helpful.
That's beautiful.
No.
Oh, well, thank you both
so
much for being our opening guests, like the very first ones. I think we've started... It's just going to go downhill from here.
No, but honestly, it's been really, really great chatting to you both. So thank you both so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Before we go, can you just tell us quickly what's going on with you both now and where can people keep up with you?
Yeah, so we're online. We both have our own individual profiles on Instagram. I'm John J. Bostock and yours is Sia Bostock, but our ministries are Ballers in God and Big Ballers in God Wags on Instagram, and you can follow us and see our journey over there.
Perfect.
Thank you very much,
guys. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. And for everyone who's been listening or watching this online, thank you so much for being with us and on this very first episode. We'd love for you to follow along on this exciting journey with us. So please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe across our socials to keep in touch. And please share with your friends.
Yeah, we've got lots of great stuff coming down in the pipeline, so it'd be amazing if you could just tell everybody about it, become supporters, just follow along, be part of the community. We're really excited, and we'll see you at the next one.
Great.
Couple Goals was brought to you by Care for the Family. We produce shows, resources and events to help strengthen family life all across the UK. And it's because of the generous support of thousands of people just like you. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please consider partnering with us in our mission. Visit cff.org.uk/donate to find out more. Thanks again, and we'll see you at the next one.